welcome to Central Florida Salute YouTube. I'm your host, Bob Peters. And you know, this is the month of June. It's Women in the Military Appreciation Month. So I happen to have one of the best, one of the prettiest, and a bird colonel. Martha Monroe, who is living in the Villages now,
Yes,
and you're a member of the Tri-County Women.
Yes, I am.
And over there, you can't see her, everybody, but there's Betsy Nolan. She's the boss. But Martha, I met you at the radio station.
Yes, you did, Bob.
And you did such a fantastic job that James Floyd told me that he wants you and not instead of me.
No, you do a great job. I can't fill those shoes, Bob.
We got that on tape? Oh, okay. Well, Martha, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally?
Okay. I am originally from upstate New York, a really tiny town called Norfolk, and it is right on the St. Lawrence Seaway between us and Canada. No one's ever heard of it unless they've gone to maybe Clarkson College.
Got lost on the highway or something?
Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. But a little kind of farming area. Yeah. So it was a long way to go, you know, from there to this career and what I got to do. So fantastic.
I've got your bio here, and I'll tell you, your career is something else.
Thank you, Bob.
I mean, you've got. If I read everything, all your education and everything here, you wouldn't get a word in edgewise, and I wouldn't be able to get through it all anyway. You know, of course, the war, college, everything, and you could tell us more about it than that. But so you're from this small town, and that's why you decided to go into the service?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I came from a long background of farmers, and I just had the hand strength to really milk cows, so that was not my interest. I really wanted to get out and do something else. So I was at a very young age fascinated with space and learned a lot about that, and so I really focused through high school and such to, you know, try to get to college. That was hard though too. My dad was a maintenance man at a paper mill. My mom was stay at home. They had 5 kids before me, so I was the last one. But we were able to do it, and yeah, my focus was to become an astronaut. So went to college at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Arizona, and went for aeronautical engineering, but I learned at an early in that time frame that the math was a little more than I really wanted to do. So I switched over to computer science, absolutely loved it, loved programming, and it was computer science with aviation applications, so that was great. That was something new at that point in time, you know, because they were switching airplanes over and bringing a lot more electronics and avionics and things like that into play. So that was great, and luckily my first assignment was in Colorado and in U.S. Space Command. So I got to be involved with satellites, early warning missile detection, and actually programming them. So that was a fantastic first job.
Wow, I guess so. So what year did you go in?
Okay, so I went in 1989.
And you had a long career, what, 30 years?
32 years, yes.
Wow.
Yes, a long one. You know, and it's funny how life works out, because at that point in time with the computers taking off and space taking off, and there was just so much going on, I said to myself, and watching other people get out, I'm only going to do 4 years, because I can bring in the bank if I, you know, really wanted to. I was working with IBM, Lockheed, you know, all these different aerospace companies that were offering young officers jobs because they needed people with that technical background, just like they do today. But, you know, life works out kind of funny, and you think you're going to go in one direction and then you go in another. For 4 years, I wanted to just stay in, get out, and then get a civilian job with an aerospace company, and then at about 4 years, I was really loving what I was doing, and I thought, oh, maybe I can make a career out of this. So I stayed in, and I had met my husband on my first assignment. We got married during my second assignment on active duty, and then my third assignment on active duty, I had my first son, and I was still planning on staying in, but then they were going to send me to Minot, North Dakota.
Oh, you know.
Why not Minot?
I remember that when I was in it. That was one of my choices. They said they can send you to Minot, North Dakota, and the only thing there is a barbed wire fence separating you from the North Pole, and it's down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just not a place I wanted to
No,
go.
no. So the why not Minot reason's the reason.
We may get some phone calls from people from up there. You know, I'll tell them to call you.
Oh, okay. So at that point in time, my husband had gotten out and he was flying for US Air, and
he's a pilot.
Yeah, he was a pilot.
Oh,
he
wow.
became a pilot. We met when he was an analyst, but he wanted to fly, so he became a pilot. And then I was pregnant with my second son. I had my toddler, who was about a year and a half old, and they wanted to send me to be an exec officer for a comm squadron. Said I'd do that for a year or so, and then I would take over and become a commander in a comm squadron, which was
what is that?
a commander of a communications squadron.
Oh, communication.
Yep,
Oh, I got
communications. Yes, and
I
if
was a mechanic, you know.
okay.
I know what a generator set is, but you're another whole level.
If I
you know.
say any acronyms, please ask.
Yes,
please
yes,
ask.
yes.
But so I knew that was just not going to work out, Bob, because no one wants an exec officer who is pregnant, and especially if you're the commander and you need to stay there until 7 o'clock at night. The Child Development Center closes at 5. They charge at that point in time, I think $1 or maybe $5 for every minute over 5 o'clock that you didn't come and get your child. So being a virtual single mom, there are even today no hubs in North Dakota. So for him to try to jump seat and to get out there to see me was going to be extremely difficult. So in the officer world, when you get new orders placed in front of you, you have something called a 7-day option. And so that means you have 7 days to accept or decline those orders. Mm-hmm. I didn't even give them 1 day. I said, nope, not going to do it. And it was really unfortunate. I didn't want to do that. I mean, I love my career. And I even had a 3-star by name request back in Massachusetts at Hanscom Air Force Base to go work there. But they said, no, this is, what you're going to do. The Personnel Center made a wise choice. Nope, this is what we're going to do with you. So I 7-day opted. I got out. And the very next day, I raised my hand and went into the Air Force Reserve. So I kept it going. I wanted to keep it going. And I had interviews before my last day on active duty. I had interviews in the Reserve Force of people wanting me. So,
well, I can understand that.
Yeah,
you have a lot of background and everything.
Thank you. So I did that to try to keep it going. So I guess the point was, I only thought I was going to stay in 4 years. And then I decided I was going to make a lifetime 20 years out of it. And then at 10 years or 11 years, I got out. So nothing, what's the phrase, all great plans are laid to waste when the first shot rings out. So that was kind of my career. And then, so then I said, okay, well, I can keep it going because, again, at that time, you can... in the reserve force, if I had 10 years active duty, you can do another 10, and then at 60 get your retirement. And so I said, I'll just do that. It's easy. That'll go by really fast. And I I did that, and I kept liking what I was doing. So I said, why not a little longer? And then a little longer became 30 years. And then about that time, I was really doing the cyber stuff that I'll talk about in a little bit. But I had a couple generals approach me, and they tag team ganged up on me about, if you were doing something great, why would you get out right now? And especially if somebody could give
they
you
know a good thing when they have, but they didn't want to lose you.
If you could get a waiver and stay another 3 years, would you do that? And I started bartering with them, which is, you can't do that as a colonel. You can't barter with the generals. So I said, how about 1 year? And they said, no, 3. And we did agree to 2. So that's how I ended up with 32 years. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny how life works out.
You weren't in the Space Force part of it, were you? Are you because that's another branch now, right?
It is.
I don't understand it, but
yes.
it's still in the Air Force, right?
Right. So Space Force, Air Force Space Command, U.S. Space Command. It's really funny how they're set up. They were always part of the Air Force, but they always were. They wanted to be their own thing. They had their own separate funding stream, so it was separate when money got budgeted from Congress down through the different flows. They had their own acquisition pot of money. The Air Force had their own pot of money, and so even though they were combined with us, they were always a little separate. When I got I got a couple of master's degrees early on. One was in space systems management. It was a dual, space systems management and computer resource management. I remember one of the papers I wrote was why Space Force should be separated from the Air Force. And lo and behold, 20 years later, it finally came to fruition. But
so you were the person.
Yeah, no, I can't take credit. I think a lot of people are writing papers like that, but it did make sense, and it was great. I loved it. And you might ask me, well, why didn't you do more of your career in space? And my second assignment was at headquarters ACC, Air Combat Command. Did they have ACC when you were in, or was it MAC, TAC,
We had
and
the
SAC?
Wright brothers. No, I'm a whole different time, dear. I mean, I was Vietnam era, and we were over there with the bombers, and
yes.
Yeah, so it was no, we didn't. No.
Yeah, so somewhere along the line, General McPeak changed all that and became Air Combat Command with all the fighters, and Air Mobility Command with bombers and the cargo. And so when I went to Langley, headquarters ACC, I was in with a bunch of fighter pilots, which at first was a little intimidating. I was the only female, only captain, because at headquarters they were all, a couple of majors, but lieutenant colonels, colonels, and generals were all there. And only non-flyer. So everybody had, the wings on their chest.
Yeah.
And back then, again, for cyber, cyber was a support function. It's not today. Cyber is operational. We wear wings too. Kind of funny, but we do. So it was a unique place for me to be in. But I will tell you, Bob, that that environment was one of the best that I was ever in. I would say fighter pilots really look out for each other. That whole camaraderie, you could see they had each other's backs. When I first got there, the commander took me into his office and said, Martha, if you have any problems with any sexual harassment or them not including you or anything at all, them not giving you the information you need, you come let us know. And I never had any of that. They included me a little too much, Bob.
You live in the villages now. You have not been here that long, from if I remember right?
No, just a year and a half.
Do you know the Distinguished Flying Cross organization in the villages?
I do not. I have not heard of that yet.
Oh, well, Joseph Finch, he was this thing, they all have to have the Distinguished Flying Cross.
Okay.
And it's quite a group, and I've had several of them on my show. And they were all helicopter pilots and fighter pilots and some of the greatest guys I ever met, you know.
Yeah, yeah, they were just a lot of
I
fun.
thought maybe you might have heard. Have you ever heard of them?
Yeah, I've met
Joe, yeah, Joe Finch is the guy who's in charge, and I had a couple of them on my show. But you have to watch my show. That's your homework assignment.
Okay, I will absolutely do that. Yeah, that sounds like a great organization. I wouldn't be able to join it, but it's great. So, yeah, so they were great. What a great group. And then from there, the commander that I worked for actually took me with him to Squadron Officer School, where I became an instructor. So Squadron Officer School is in Montgomery, Alabama, and it is mid-level captains who go through it. Everyone's supposed to go through it. Sometimes, some years it's selective, some years it's not. But as an instructor, you teach leadership, problem solving, team building, group dynamics, kind of all of those things, and teach people to be better leaders and get them set up to be squadron commanders, to
that
succeed.
makes sense, yeah.
So that was great to have a leader that believed in me that much that he wanted to bring me along, down there to do that. And then unfortunately, the next assignment don't get me wrong, the Air Force wanted to set me up to a great career, a great success by being exec, seeing how a squadron is run, and then becoming the commander myself. But with the family and family values, I had to pick that.
How to
first.
get tough.
Yeah,
especially having a couple of kids and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, I thought the reserve force would be easier and be able to do that. And I was obviously I'm an overachiever. You can tell a little bit, right? And I'm very type A personality. And
I tell you, I got to be honest with Martha, Colonel Martha.
No, yeah, that's fine, Martha, that's fine.
I've got your bio in front of me, and yeah, I'd say you're an overachiever. And like I said to you before, I can't possibly read all this educational stuff because you won't get a word in edgewise, and I don't even know if I could say it all. But you do have some major awards and decorations.
Thank you.
You want to tell us what they are?
Sure. Yeah, so I was very honored when I retired to get the Legion of Merit Award as a reserve, force. That's very special, and my commander believed in me, so that was fantastic. The medals you get for doing a great job, and as long as you do a great job in your job. And one of the things that I taught my students was, know the job, which is know what it is you're supposed to do, know how to do the job, which is learning exactly the steps that you should do to succeed, and then do the job, right? So, and I had some great early mentors, early leaders that told me, Martha, don't ever worry about your next assignment or the next rank. If you do a good job in the job that you're doing, that will happen. So I did, and that's what I focused on. And so, all of these awards, decorations, I did my job. I feel like I did the job that I was supposed to do.
Obviously you did. That's why you got these awards, Martha. I mean,
I will say, some of the other accomplishments, like I was very honored to be awarded the Individual Mobilization Augmentee, which is the IMA program. So in the Reserve Force, in the Air Force, and I believe in the Army as well, you have regular reserve, which are those people that go, 1 or 2 weekends a month and 2 weeks a year. The IMA program works out a little bit different in that you still have to do all of that time, so 48 days, and you have to go work those when the active duty force is working. So you get embedded with them. And so if you have a job, so when I got out, I still needed to work. So Mike spent 28 years in the military, so not too far behind me. He was also he was a graduate from the Air Force Academy. Played hockey his whole life. He loved it. Graduated with a math degree. Did a few years, and there was a Our year group of 89 was huge, so they gave a little window of allowing people to get out, and so he took that window of opportunity because he really wanted to fly. Ended up flying. And
what did he fly? When he was in the Air Force? Or
no,
afterwards?
no, after. So he flew for US Air, and
Well,
yeah.
there's a couple of guys I know that are they're with the Band of Brothers. They're Vietnam veterans, and they were pilots and stuff. And when they got out, that's what they did. They flew for US Air, and they flew for whatever.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, that was great. You know, being a pilot, being an airline pilot. Again, kind of like if I had been in Minot, it's hard because they, you know, being young in the company, you get the last lines that, you know, everybody bids on their lines, and you get the ones that nobody wants, where you're gone at Christmas, you're gone at Thanksgiving, you're gone for all the holidays. And so I didn't really see him a lot. And you know, I tell people for the first 7 or 9 years of our marriage, we lived in separate states. Like, we never hardly saw each other. It was hard. So being, again, that overachiever and wanting it all, like I want the military career still, so I'm still going to join the reserve and try to do that, but I need the civilian career, so I have to do that. But I want kids, and I want to be married, and oh, by the way, I want 2 dogs too. So, you know, two kids, 2 dogs, 2 jobs. Only 1 husband, thank God, through the whole thing. But that's tough to juggle. And my hat's off to, you know, these women that are executives, senior leaders in companies, Fortune 500 companies today that have all that. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing that they're and generals in the military that have all of that. You know, that's very, very hard to do. So so he was flying, but he also joined the reserve at the same time I did, and which is a funny story because I was on my way to Connecticut from Alabama to interview, we stopped in Washington D.C. and I interviewed for my first reserve job at headquarters DLA, Defense Logistics Agency, at Fort Belvoir, and that's where I ended up with my my joint medal. Because I was joint assignment, and while I was sitting there interviewing, I think he flew me up there because, you know, he still had his little private pilot's license and stuff. We thought, oh, I'll go with you, and so they're interviewing me, and he's sitting there waiting, and the lieutenant colonel starts talking to him, and oh, you went to the academy, oh, you've got this background, would you like a job too? So during my interview, whoops, I hit my thing, he got a job. So
how'd you make out? Did you get a job?
And I got a job too,
okay.
But they hired both of us, so that was kind of funny that he tagged along on my job interview. So yeah, we ended up doing that, and then of course 9/11 struck, and you know, such a sad day for everybody. But I don't know if you recall that after that, we
just did a show with John Manning, who lives in the Villages, and he is a rep for Tunnels to Towers.
Okay.
And we just this morning at 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah.
But USA Air kind of went bankrupt at that point in time,
Oh, yeah?
you know, right after it, and they furloughed about 1,000 pilots, a lot of pilots. He was one of them that got furloughed. So he was furloughed for a year, and that, you know, it was great because he got to stay at home and take care of the kids, and I was jealous.
Well, that's your opinion.
I was jealous, Bob. I mean,
Yeah, that's your
You know,
opinion.
they were
He's on the
young.
other side going, yeah, she's out there, and I'm
Yeah.
here with the kid. Yeah.
They were young. You know, he got to play with them
great.
every day, and then the war kicked off, so that was great to have him at home. You know, and just be a family unit again. I will tell you, you know, when he was gone, it was hard. I mean, I would drop the kids off at 6 in the morning to daycare, and I would literally pick them up at 6 at night. And I remember driving in one day and getting halfway there, and I hear a noise in the back seat, and I turn around and I realized I forgot to drop my kid off. Like, I was driving to work because there were so many things going on in my mind about budget and everything that we were trying to do. So, you know, I can see where parents sometimes God forbid that you forget a child in a hot car, but I can see moments in your life where you are so wrapped up with everything else that you forget, you forget. So anyway, it was tough. It was tough doing all that, but so he stayed at home, fantastic time. And then, of course, the war really kicked off, and he had gotten a new reserve job. He was the commander of a maintenance squadron at Westover Air Reserve Base in Massachusetts. And when the war kicked off as a commander, he had to be there again for the reserve that were coming in. They were coming in 1-2 weekends a month. He had to be there for at least one of those weekends and all the other times. So I literally, for 2 straight years, saw him 1 weekend a month for 2 years. So
it is a sacrifice our men and women make when you defend our country. Like you say, off he goes or off you go, and you're trying to do the family, raise the kids and everything. It is hard. I give the men and women. I was in, when I was in, it was right out of high school because of Vietnam going on and with the draft, and I was not married or anything, so it was, but I could see where it'd be difficult if you have kids and everything.
Right, it is, and that's why so many women, I formed a task force right at the end of my career, and so that just tells you, it was in 2019, 20, 21 even, that we still have problems. We still have problems keeping women in. And so my general asked me to form a task force to try to understand what will keep women in, because they did a survey, and found that women come in, they stay for 4 years, and then they get out. And really the problem is all of this juggling. And usually one or the other person has to give up their career because the other one's going to take care of the family.
I will say this, though. I've been doing these shows now almost 17 years. One of my first shows was with the Armory down the street over here.
Okay.
And I learned through them, that they have the family unit. So if someone is deployed, whether it be the male or the female, they all bond together and take care of that. And they don't let the word out that your husband's away, because they don't want anybody bothering the family. So, and then I did go to, I think it was Fort Hood, on a bus trip, and they had a great thing there they had a daycare at the place and everything for kids. So,
Yeah, they do a lot, and I will say for the active duty side, it's a tight-knit family. You're right there on base. People go over and, if you're in New England bases, they'll shovel, driveways and take care of each other. Being a reservist is a little more difficult, and I will say, there's a lot of civilian sectors that don't understand about the military, and speaking, New England's kind of one of those areas where you don't find a lot of bases. A lot more of the bases are down south or out west, and there's more interaction. I will say New England was one of the more difficult areas that I had. I was gone a lot. I had to go again 2 weeks every quarter, and then my mother-in-law would come in, take care of the kids or what have you. But my husband was always gone flying. And one time I got really sick, and we lived in Connecticut, and I got so...
We're in Connecticut.
Danbury, Connecticut.
Danbury?
Yes, you're
That's
familiar
where I went
with
to
Danbury?
high school and everything.
Oh,
I grew up in
really?
Danbury.
Yeah. What was their mascot? It was, what's your high school mascot? The Danbury...
I think it was Rip Van Winkle.
Okay.
No,
they had the Danbury
the Mad
Trashers now.
Hatters.
Mad Hatters, that was it, yes. Yeah. So,
we're in Danbury.
Where in Danbury?
Yeah.
I was over at King Street.
King Street, oh yeah.
Yes,
King Street.
yes.
Yeah. I was on Brushy Hill.
Okay, yeah. But so I was sick, and I had the baby, and I had my toddler, and usually I was taking them to daycare, but I just couldn't go in. And I asked one of the women in the neighborhood to come over and watch take the kids for a while, watch them while I was sick. And she said, oh, absolutely, and came over, and I said, thank you so much for doing this for me. I really appreciate it. She said, no worries. That's what us real moms do. So, a real mom.
I don't know
So,
how to take that.
no, it's difficult, and I think women can be hard on each other, and sometimes when women see other women working and they have different values, that can be difficult. So, so you have that.
Yeah. So listen, let me ask you about cyber. What exactly is that?
What is cyber?
Yeah, I mean, you're like looking at everything on the computer. You can tell who's where and what.
Yeah. Pretty much anything you touch today has cyber in it. So if you have electronic toothbrush, there's something in there that is feeding information back to the company and telling how long you're brushing your teeth for, how often, your refrigerator, how often you open the door.
They call that Big Brother.
Oh yes, Big Brother is absolutely always watching. So, so yes, cyber is fantastic opportunity for me. And let's see, 2015. An email came out, and it was Dr. Kamal Jabbour, who is a brilliant man. He was the senior scientist for information assurance for the Air Force out at Rome Labs, New York, Air Force Research Lab. And he was putting a team together to look at the Air Force weapon systems from a different perspective than anybody ever had before, and trying to see if our enemies could penetrate those weapons, get into them, do something nefarious to it, and somehow ruin the mission. And whether that be destroy it, deny it, degrade it, the 5 Ds, try to go in there and do something to it. So I said, that looks like fun. That was a hand raise, right? Yet another thing, because I was already the senior mobilization augmentee for the commander for Hanscom Air Force Base. So that meant that I oversaw all of the reserve that were on base. I had to make sure that they were mission ready, had all of their training done, had their fitness tests done, things like that. So any personnel issues, I had to oversee all of that. That was about 50 people on base. And then, of course, I raised my hand and go, I want to do this too. So I went and did that and did the training. And he said he was from, amazing man, family had come here from Lebanon, kind of escaped there. He had worked for, I believe, Syracuse University during 9/11. Decided he wanted to do something for the country, give back, and went and worked and did some stuff I can't talk about, but amazing stuff. So anyway, we get done with the training, and he said, Colonel Monroe, you're going to lead the first team to do an evaluation. And oh, by the way, we're going to do it on the new tanker, the KC-46, and tell them how it's going. So, so I said, okay. So we did it, and what we did was we kind of created a book, and it was called the Blue Book. And so in cyber, you have 2 teams, blue team, red team. The blue team will evaluate the system to find out what all the vulnerabilities are and the problems with it. And then when you hand that over to the red team, and the red team goes in and tries to hack it and get in to those areas that you say they can get into. So you have the aggressor red team and the blue team who is doing more of the technical, like looking at the technical documentation, the diagrams. We would go out and see all of the information that we could find that was public online. Let's say that Northrop Grumman is posting all this documentation, and you can go see it. And by the way, a lot of people companies post a lot of documentation that they probably couldn't, because we used a lot of public stuff. We didn't even have to try to finagle our way into getting things. So it was really kind of scary what we started coming up with and finding. And oh, by the way, we did GPS one day. And then someone else took that and they did a day without GPS briefing, and talk about scary. That if you ever come across or look up, something like that, a day without GPS, pretty fascinating stuff.
Well, yeah, I have GPS in my car, and I don't know how to use it.
Oh, it's so far beyond
that.
that. So far beyond that. Think about all our airlines flying.
I can see that.
Everything is based on GPS. Clocks, world clocks, everything's based on GPS. So anyway, we did that, and I published the book out. Of course, if you work on, so cyber's kind of funny. If you're working on a non-classified program, anything that you find that is a cyber vulnerability, which means that somebody can get in, hack it, do something bad to it, it becomes secret. Those things are secret. If you work on a secret program, it becomes top secret. So I had to have a top secret SCI through all of this to do it. But so I couldn't tell many people that I was doing it, but we did the KC-46, and I had a brilliant team, and I had this young lieutenant, they were all young. I had all lieutenants and captains and GS young people, pretty much straight out of college almost, but they were smart. They were hackers. They were, they could get in there. They were programmers, and I would this is your target, go. And I would sit back and watch, right? So it wasn't me, it was really them doing all of this great work. But anyway, then I went to a conference with about 1,000 people there, and I was the 3-star from Air Force Materiel Command, where all of the acquisition programs come out of, one being the KC-46. Was up briefing, and he gave us briefing and whatever, and so he got done, and I walked over. His name was General Thompson. I said, "Hey, General, I just wanted to say hello, and that we did an evaluation of the KC-46, and not sure if you've seen it yet." And he goes, "Yeah, Martha." He said, "Funny story. I was walking through the halls back in Materiel Command, and this little lieutenant bebops up to me, and she's like, 'Hey, sir, I just did a cyber evaluation of the KC-46.' And he goes, 'Really?' Because nobody had briefed him beforehand that our team was going to do that. So he said, 'Maybe next time you inform me ahead of time.' I said, 'Yes, General.' So that taught me every time before, and I did over 50 evaluations before I got out of weapon systems, to always go in and let the commanders know that I was going to do an evaluation of their program. Otherwise, they didn't appreciate that too much.
No, I would think not. Well, listen, Martha, I think we're going to be running out of time.
Okay.
I could listen to you all day. I think what you've done in looking at this, we could talk about everything all day long. I mean, it's amazing. But where is Bird Colonel Martha nowadays? She is in with the Tri-County Women Veterans. What are you doing with them? What are you doing nowadays?
Yes. Nowadays, I mean, they are, I would say, my number one focus. First group I saw when I got here, and first group I joined, other than the beer tasting group, they were pretty fun too. So I love craft beer.
The what group?
There's a craft beer group. Yeah, that has over 500 members.
Oh, I should have known that.
Yeah. But the
craft beer group.
Yes, absolutely. You have to check that. They do a lot of bus trips.
500 different. It'd take me a while to sample every one, wouldn't it?
It would, but it's fun though.
I'll bet.
But so is the Tri-County Women's Veterans Group, and kind of that's a funny story, because they started up a mentor program, and I had a mentor assigned to me, and she said, "Martha, we're just going to sit back and have you go to a few different things, check it out, and see what it's like, and see what you like doing and like to volunteer to do, because they do a lot of great, as you know, volunteer work, and there's a social group and a volunteer group, and they do amazing stuff for a lot of different organizations." And so I said, okay, that sounds good. And then there was a meeting where they were looking for new board members, and one specifically being the vice president for marketing, fundraising, and IT, cyber. And they said, and my mentor had gotten up to go to the bathroom. And so they said, you know, will anybody please volunteer? And they had been looking for.
And of course, Martha.
Oh my God! I don't know what it is with this right hand, but I can't keep it down. So, you know, anybody, you know, this week, and I've been weeks and weeks and weeks that they're looking for people, and I looked over at the lady that was doing it, and I saw her sad face, and I couldn't say no. I looked at their little eyes, and I was like, oh. You know, I'll do it. And so my mentor, she said to me after, she goes, Martha, I went out to the bathroom and I come back in and look what happened. I was gone for 1 minute.
I'm going to tell you a little story, my dear. When I was in the Air Force, we went to a basic training, then we went to tech school, and they had PATS, people awaiting school, or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
So we were stuck in the barracks for like about 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And all you would do is they'd march you to the chow hall, and they'd march you to the movie theater, and you'd watch these movies, and they'd look to see if you're falling asleep, and then they'd go after you, whatever.
Yes.
So one day, they called us all out. We go out there, and they said, we need volunteers to do some yard work. So I volunteered. And I was told a long time ago, when you're in the service, never volunteer.
Right, right.
But I volunteered, and they said, anybody else? I says, yeah, Angel here, he volunteers. What? So Angel and I went, and Angel got blisters on his hand. He never talked to me again.
Oh, I thought you said were going to say you were looking for a nice shady tree to hang out under, but
No, they put
you
us
worked
to
hard.
work. I just got bored waiting to do something, so I volunteered. But Angel, he never talked to me again.
Aw. Oh, that's terrible.
Sorry, Angel.
Well, my mentor is still talking to me, but she said, what happened? I left you for 1 minute, and look what you went and did. So, but I love it. I want to, of course, help give back to this great organization. So it's been a little bit of a learning experience. I took it on in January. But at the same time, I decided to use a little bit of my GI Bill and become a certified personal trainer. So that never stopped learning. So I became a certified personal trainer, a weight loss specialist, a performance enhancement specialist, and a nutritionist, all during that time. So anyway, I am all done with all those certifications now. If anybody needs help, I'm here. But yeah, so a little bit of learning curve during all of that. But I think I'm up to speed now, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job. But Betsy here can.
Oh, I'm sure you are. If not, you'll volunteer for something else.
I know. No, I got to stop. But thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure having you on the radio. I mean, you came on and you were very professional. You know, for someone that doesn't do radio, you were spot on. And I'm totally impressed with you. I mean, it's like a wow thing here. You know?
Oh, thank you.
We could talk for another 4 hours, but.
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah, the cyber stuff. When I meet other cyber people, we can really talk for a long time.
What do you do in your spare time? You know what I mean?
I don't want to make your listeners' eyes roll in the back of their head getting too geeky talk, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I thank you for your service, and we'll be seeing more of you. Tri-County Women Veterans, are you doing that thing tonight?
Yes.
With Gary?
Yes.
Yeah, so I hope to see you there. If I can, long story. If I can make it happen, I'm going to do it. But yeah, I know you've been very supportive of a lot of different things, the Tri-County Women. It's a great group, and it's a pleasure having you here and Betsy here in June, which is Women Appreciation Month, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks. We're going to go now.
All right. Take care.
Because if I go to page 2, we'll be here for 3 hours. So, Martha, join me. You're looking at that camera right there. Mm-hmm. To all our veterans out there, our active military and their families, we salute you for all you do. Till next time.
Bye.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Today I'm at AMVETS Post 2006, a major sponsor of Central Florida Salute. And I want to introduce to you the commander here, Ronnie Mack. Ronnie, tell us a little bit about AMVETS 2006. Where are you located? And
we are at 500 North Canal Street, Leesburg, Florida. It's right off of 441, between 441 and Main Street on Canal. Can't miss us. And we're a veterans organization, along with, we have an auxiliary, and we have sons of veterans that are related some form or another to a veteran. And we do a lot for a lot of charitable donations and stuff to charities in the area and in the county. And we're a major sponsor to Central Florida Salute. We're proud of it. We're glad to be. You guys do a heck of a job, and we'll sponsor you as long as I'm here. We're going to sponsor you. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, we do. Sue and I really appreciate it. We're a two-person operation, and what we try to do with education and supporting our veterans community, and you supporting us, is major thing. It's major.
We're glad to do it, Bob. We're glad to do it.
And you have sons here. You have auxiliary here. You've got a website too if somebody wants to join.
Yep, it's don't punch into www. It's amvets-2006.org, and it'll take you right to our website, Facebook page, and all that's there, and you'll be able to find that. The webmaster, he tries to get the calendar on there every month, anything pertinent. There's a lot of other links on there for veterans to find out where to get help for certain claims and stuff like that. Our webmaster's really into that stuff. That's the guy you ought to be interviewing right there. So,
well, you know what,
he's got
Ronnie?
a lot of stuff.
You have a lot of clout. You tell him to talk to me, and we'll get him on the show. Okay?
I can do that.
All right. But I just want to, on behalf of Sue and myself, we want to thank AMVETS 2006 because you guys are the major players behind us, and we appreciate it.
But we just wish we could do more. We really do.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.